Hello guys, and welcome to this third lecture on section 2. Here we'll be taking you through some tips and tricks when it comes to working with your data in SAS. So this is the third of 4 lectures that are under this section. So just a quick recap, guys, on how SAS processes data. So let's just say, for example, that you want to create a flag variable based on the level of another variable, say on the level of spend, for example, for every single customer. So do remember that SAS processes data one row at a time and condition by condition, which basically means that as we go through the PDV, so the program data vector, each individual observation, in this case each individual customer key that you can see there on the screen, will get processed, and if the value of the spend variable is greater than, say, the threshold, in this case 100, if you look at the small snippet of code there with that data step there, if it's bigger than 100, the flag gets placed as an E, otherwise it gets placed as a C, i.e. for cheap. So this is really an important principle to bear in mind, a row at a time, and we control this in data steps. Now, a useful tip is also to use some data visualization where you write out some small headers of your data sets to help out throughout your thought process. Knowing what your data looks like during that process will really increase your productivity, and I really advise you to do this exercise, especially when starting out. Now, for creating new variables, you can create these in the initial data step where you are inputting your data, for example, or you can use a new data step to create them. We'll come to an example in a second. If you choose to create a new data step, you'll need to either create a new file in SAS or modify an existing one. Okay. Another important topic to bear in mind is variable length. So in this particular example, we are using product key to define the values of product underscore key underscore 2 variable. It's exactly the same value, but because on the length statement we're using a length of 5 bytes, the product key 2 variable will be truncated. Okay. Another example of creating new variables in SAS. Here we've got we've got 2 data steps. So the first one creates the products data set, which basically uses a data line statement, so recall the previous lecture, and specifies the variable, which is the price of the item. Then in the second data step, you create a second data set called products underscore new by reading the previous data set that you created. You do this via the set statement, and then you create in that data step, you create the new underscore price variable by square rooting the price variable. Okay, so here's an example where you create a new variable by applying a function, in this case square root, to an existing variable from a previous data set. Now, just a quick overview of operators. You've got there the usual suspects when it comes to addition, subtraction, and what have you. For exponentiation, you use a double asterisk. You can use parentheses to group expressions, and SAS follows the standard order that you'd expect in the programming languages. For logical operators, I'm listing out a few of those there, but really advise you guys to check with the SAS documentation, as it is a good source of information on these various operators. Apart from that, the usual logic rules apply, so be mindful of that, guys. And that's pretty much it, so I will see you in the next lecture. So thanks.